Okay, I'm going to show you how to do the wrap and two stitch. And what it is it's wrapping over 2 pegs at a time and then alternating it on the next row. So I thought when I discovered this that I would give it a really easy name, because it's made out of that stitch that a lot of other people might have discovered it too, but the name really applies to what it is, because we are wrapping over 2 pegs and we're doing it twice, alternating it. So wrap and two is what I'm going to call it. And so this is our starter peg, and I put a little marker here because this loom doesn't have any starter pegs. And so then we know that we're starting here, and we're going to wrap these 2 pegs together. Then we're going to go down to the next 2 pegs. So this is pegs 3 and 4. So we wrapped 1 and 2 together. We're wrapping 3 and 4 together. We're going to go down and wrap the next 2. So that these 2 are wrapped together, these 2 are wrapped together, and these 2 are wrapped together. And we're going to do that all the way around. I discovered this because I wanted to make a big stitch on a small gauge loom, and I was wrapping and I accidentally went around the row the wrong way and then saw what it looked like, and so then I did a bunch of them to see what it looked like. And so how I've been using this, I discovered it back in March of 2018, is it works really good as a brim because it's a tight stitch. So if you do it, you've got a brim, and then whatever other stitch you do is going to be looser. Also works very good on its own, but because it's a tighter stitch, you're going to probably use a loom up from what you normally use to be comfortable wearing what it is. It's really cute for baby hats. Really soft. So anyway, we're going to finish wrapping our 2, and then we come back. This is an even peg loom, so when we're ending we have everything wrapped. If this had been odd, we would have had 1 peg right here with no wrapping. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I'm set up for the next row so I don't accidentally wrap it the wrong way. So these 2 pegs are together, these 2 pegs are together. So I'm going to knit these ones off right away. And so then I know that these 2 are wrapped, these 2 are wrapped, so I want to wrap these 2 to alternate them. Last peg and peg 1. And if I'd had another odd peg there, I would have been wrapping the odd peg and peg 1 together. And that's how I would make that work with an odd loom. So I'm just going to wrap them together because that's going to tell me when I start the row, but I don't want to mix it up with the row I'm already doing. So I'm just going to do 1 stitch here to put over and leave this one like this so it hasn't been brought over, and that's going to hold my yarn here so I won't lose anything, and then I can just go ahead and take the stitches over. And you're going to want to wrap them really, really loose. Like, see, these are so loose. And the reason for that is it can really, really tighten up. So you want to wrap it so loose that it's just about ready to fall off. And if you can get your tension right so you can wrap it that loose, it'll be one of the easiest things you ever wrapped because it just goes over so easy. You can bring it over with your fingers. You don't even need a loom hook. So it's nice that way, and it'll certainly teach you to have really loose tension if you've had a problem with that. Okay. So now we're back, and this is telling me we're wrapping these 2 because I knit that one over. I have the 2 bars there, so then I'm coming over here and wrapping these 2 together. And that's all it is. And I'm keeping these really loose, and if they're not loose enough, I come back and loosen them like that. Keep it really, really, really loose. Really loose, yeah. The looser the better. Let's pull some yarn over. Okay, those 2 together. And the other thing is when you're wrapping them, if they've already been wrapped, you can kind of see there's a thick part in here that shows you those two are wrapped together. And it's kind of bare here. And so I'm wrapping these two together. You can tell they weren't wrapped together before. So if you ever get mixed up, you can look at them. You've got this big thing here, right? And this is really far back. You'd have to push it forward so you can see. And then I'm just going to go around and wrap the pegs together. And then we come back to this one right here. So now we're going to take this one over and this one over. There we go. And this one over. Because we've got these two wrapped together, these two, and these two are wrapped together. So now our choice is either to wrap these or wrap these. But if we wrap these two, what's going to happen is we're going to start heading that way, and what we want to stay is close to peg 2. So we're just going to go over and we're going to come up here and we're going to wrap better take this one over. Okay, so we're here and we're going to come up, and these were wrapped, so these were wrapped, so we want to wrap these two right here like that, and then like that. We want to know we're always alternating, and we want to stay as close to here as we can. So we might have to go an extra peg over to be able to do that, but you won't be able to tell. It will just be right in the pattern. And the other thing is, if you find it gets a little snug going this way, to take them over, you can go this way instead. That's one we're leaving on. It's a little looser this way. But if you're having to do that, then you know you're wrapping a little bit tight. But it gets tighter as you go, so you want to keep it really, really loose. So if you find you're ever struggling to put them over, I'm just at an awkward angle. That's what's happening with me. It'll be easier if I go this way. I got to keep this in the camera. And you just put them over. And so you're just going to keep going like that, alternating them. And I'm just going to get around here, and I'm going to see if there's going to show you anything yet. Okay. It's still too tight. It's not showing anything. So I'm just going to put it on pause and go around a few rows so I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so I went around 2 more rows, and you can see that here the stitch is starting to happen, and it's stretchy, and it knits up pretty small. But instead of knitting this for a long ways for you to see, I'll just show you how it looks like on some other pieces. I showed you how to do the stitch. Okay, so on this one, this is the stitch right here. It gets really beautiful. Really, really pretty stitch. So I say you can do a whole thing in it, but it does knit up tight, and so it makes a really good brim. So this is it when it's done fairly loose. And then right here I used it as a brim on this hat. The hat looks almost brimless. Let's see if I can get it here in the camera. There, it looks almost brimless. And then I've gone right up into the stitch. The stitch is up here, but here's how it looks when it's thicker. I guess it's hard to see it on this dark purple, but it makes a nice brim, nice stretchy. And as you can see from the size of the loom, how much smaller this is coming down. So this is like a 40-inch loom, and it would normally be too big for me, but this will fit me. I have a small head. It does come down, and that's what the stitch looks like here. I'll pull it out a little bit. Maybe you can see it a little bit better when I pull it out. There it is. But you saw it in the other one. It's just a little tighter in here, but it's really, really a pretty stitch. So that's how you do it. It's just alternating, wrapping 2 pegs together. That's it. So there you go. That's what that stitch is like. Hope you have fun with it. Enjoy, and we'll see you next time.